There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
For years now, Idatastart and the ADS Group have been at the forefront of remote starter technology. Well, you've come to the right show, because on this showcase, we're talking brand new product, which is being announced right here. And the team at ADS is saying this is going to be a game changer. So strap in. We've got product expert Phil Camirand in the studio with us today, and this is going to be a good one. This is CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM, all about Idatastart. And it starts now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. So we've arrived. The leaves are about to change color. The temperatures are getting cooler. And that, of course, means here on CMA Networks, we are covering remote starters and telematics. And do we ever have a session for you guys? Such a great buy-in from all the brands. But today we're talking about a very important one. It's called Idatastart. And they've got some major news to announce. Now, Idatastart's been around for a long time. So many of you guys out there use their product. They've come up with some pretty nifty solutions on how to get the most seamless install into these modern day vehicles. And from the buzz that I hear, what they're about to announce today might just be a game changer. So let's find out more. Let's reach out to their Canadian distributor at Automobility, where we have Mr. Phil Camirand, who's their product specialist, standing by. Mr. Phil, welcome to CMA Showcase today.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Now, I know you have a big smile on your face, because even leading up to this show, I was not really privy to the information we were not allowed to talk about. But now we're finally here. We can unveil some news. There's been some major news. Obviously, I've heard some rumblings. Can you finally elaborate on what this news is today?
Yes, I can. I'm probably one of the only guy in the industry that gets excited when we talk about the remote starter. But one thing I can tell you is that this season, the team over at Idatastart has been incredibly busy, and they're just about to release pardon my French, a whole lot of new solution for everybody out there. So if you are very serious about doing a remote start, you are familiar with Idatastart. So what we're going to do today is go over the new stuff. I don't think we need to go over the traditional line, like what is an HCX, HC1, HC2. I think everybody's familiar down there with what the products are. We're simply going to focus on all the new stuff. And yeah, I'm very excited to talk about it. It is game changer.
Game changer. I love that. Game changer gets me excited, because it means there's technology, there's effort, there's resources being put into making things better. And if I know ADS, we had some big news just last week from ADS in another category under integration with Maestro. So I can only imagine what today we're going to talk about. Can you break out how are you going to present things today?
Sure. Before we get to the new stuff, there's a couple of things I want to mention just before we prep for the remote starter season. There's a couple of things that every installer and every shop out there should be made aware of. I'm assuming most of them are. We're going to cover that. Once we got that covered, then we're going to get into the new stuff. And it's going to be a busy session, because we do have tons of new stuff to talk about.
Wow, exciting. All right, I'm going to get out of your way. Let's get you set up, Phil. Why don't you set up your presentation? I know you work really hard. And I have no idea what you're about to say, but I have a feeling this is going to be a big one. So let's go ahead and set that up.
Perfect. All right. So before we get started, there's a couple of things I want to mention about the hardware. Like I said, if you're familiar with Idatastart, you're familiar with the hardware. The hardware hasn't changed very much in the past couple of years. I think everybody's made aware of the product. It is built-in interface. It's powered on the ALC platform, so it's trusted, time-proven. The product doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. There are a couple of minor changes that started to happen last season, and this is what we call a running change. What you guys see behind me is the traditional Idatastart brain, like this guy here, right? This is what we know, what we're used to, but some of you out there might have seen a couple of modules that look a little bit different than what you see here. The first change that you will see, and this is a running change, so you might see it, you might not see it, so it really depends on what's in stock at your distributor, but this you'll start to see a little bit more and more. So the first thing that is going away on what you see behind me there is that loop that was for automatic manual. As we are all aware, the Idatastart remote starter brand will only support automatic transmission. But for whatever reason, the loop was still there, and it was still asked of us, the installers, to cut the loop. And so many times we're busy because we're doing a whole lot of starters during the day, and we forget to cut the loop, and we get the error code, and we're like, what's going on? Then 5 minutes later, and like, oh my God, I forgot to cut the loop. So now with this running change, that loop is going away. So you might get some modules this season that you will see will not have a loop. They didn't stop there. If you guys take a look here at the bottom left, usually you would see a little, let me just go back one slide here. You would see a little red port at the bottom. If you don't see it, it's because it's the new generation. So those two red ports will be going away. So no more red ports, no more loop, a lot easier. Another thing that you guys will see, it is a little bit behind me, so it's hard to see. So let's just remove my fat head. You guys notice right above the programming button, there was a 3-pin connector. This connector was for the thermistor. This thermistor was an external piece that would allow you to display the temperature on your LCD remote or on your telematics app. Now with this new change, this port is going away. So they will be removing this port. It doesn't mean that you can no longer get temperature. All it means is that the temperature sensor, the thermistor, is now built into the remote starter. If we look at the bottom in the middle, where you see that green little dot with the red arrow, that's the thermistor. So if you get a new module, there's a little bit less ports, and you will see that the thermistor is built into the module. So if you guys want to see what it looks like, I have one right here. So as you guys can see, traditional looking remote starter brain. We got our regular connectors here. We got our output, input, telematics, no more red ports here. On the other side, we have the programming button, and we're missing that 3-pin plug. And if we go on that end, we have our RS-232 port. We have the micro USB connector, and right here where you see the green dot, this is our thermistor. Now, this thermistor will allow you to read the temperature inside the vehicle and to get it displayed on your either LCD remote or telematics app. Now, because this thermistor is built onto the board itself, it could get a different temperature reading than the inside cabin temperature, because the board, as your car is remote running, will heat up a bit, and this will pick up a little bit of heat. Now, the boys at ADS has thought about this, and whenever you're flashing programming this, if you go into the settings, into your input category, you can adjust a little offset for this thermistor. So if you see that after 5-10 minutes of running time, it's off by 5 or 6 degrees, then you can adjust that offset whenever you're programming this. So if you get one of those new brain, don't be scared. No more loop, a lot easier to do and a lot simpler, and you have a little bit less port. So this is a nice change that us installers will see this season. As far as the rest of the brain, as you guys can see here, it is exact same thing. We still got our built-in interface, which is based on the trusted ALCA. We got 2 of them built in. We do have an onboard Weblink, so it allows you to connect your mini USB port, micro USB port directly there to flash it if you don't have an ADS USB to program your device with. Or you can still use the RS-232, plug it in, and away you go. We have our high-power ignition accessory starter relay built in. And we also have a programmable relay, which is the parking light output that can also do ignition accessory starter and obviously parking lights. The ground is part of the main connector harness, so it is always safe. If you disconnect and reconnect, you don't have to remember to ground it first and then plug in your power, right? On the side here, we got all of our connectors to add in our T-Harness solution. As you guys will see later on during the presentation, the team at ADS has been very, very busy. There's a whole lot of new T-Harness going to be made available this year, and I do believe everybody will be very, very happy about this. And also part of that connector here, we have our low power ignition accessory starter output, and also power and ground. Now, these low power ignition output out of that connector that you guys see on the side are firmware driven, meaning that it's not because the wires are there that you can simply connect them and make them work. They rely on firmware. So if the install guide for the application that you are doing shows you to connect those, they will work. If the install guide doesn't show you to connect them, they will be disabled. This way, it will prevent accidents from happening down the future or downrange, right? So if you're not sure about power consumption, those are 1 amp output. So we want to make sure that you won't fry the module. Everybody that does remote start, we all know that remote starter operates on magic smoke, right? And for them to operate, the magic smoke needs to stay within. If the magic smoke is out, not going to work. Magic smoke inside the brain, right? All right. This is the most that I'm going to do about the hardware itself. If you have any question, you can always feel free to reach out to either ADS or us at Automobility or your distributor. So I'll be more than happy to answer your question. The next thing I want to talk about is, let's talk about the dinosaur in the room here. If you're familiar with ADS, you know that ADS for the longest time required you to flash program their product. They're universal. You find your application online, you select vehicle, make, model, year, and trim, you connect your Idatastart to your computer, and then you flash it. Forever, ADS relied on an integration from Internet Explorer and a Weblink USB plugin. Now, if you've purchased a computer within the last year or 2 or 3, you probably noticed that Internet Explorer is kind of put aside and is favored by Microsoft Edge. So as of August 15, the team at ADS is no longer supporting the Internet Explorer and the ADS USB plugin. It doesn't mean it stops working. It will still work, but it will not fix it in the future. So like all the good old dinosaurs there, our Internet Explorer Service Rex is facing extinction and will be very, very shortly replaced by our good buddy, the Weblink Desktop. If you're not familiar with Weblink Desktop, it is an application that will reside on your computer. So you no longer have to use a specific browser. You can use any browser you want, but to flash program your device, you will need to download this application called Weblink Desktop. If you don't know where to get it, once you go on the Idatalink website, top right, support section, Idatastart and the Weblink, download Weblink Desktop. The good thing about Weblink Desktop, it will work with every Idatalink, Idatastart product. So if you have an ALCA, if you have a Blade-enabled product, if you have your Idatastart, this will work with it. And you don't have to use a PC anymore. It means that the Weblink Desktop is able to work on a Mac. So if you are like me, if you are a Mac user, you won't have to install Windows on your Mac, or have to use a separate computer with Windows just to flash your product, you can use one computer, Mac or PC, use that Weblink desktop, which is an application that resides on your computer that will allow you to flash your product. You still require internet. You still cannot download firmware on your computer. It is internet. It needs to be connected to the internet, but you don't have to use a specific browser to do this. So if you buy a brand new computer, download Weblink desktop and so on. So before the season starts, very important, all the techs out there, all the installers out there, they should download Weblink desktop. And if you've tried Weblink desktop, it looks pretty much the same as the blue website that you see on the Idatastart website. So this is pretty much all the common stuff that I need to cover with you guys. I do believe it's time to go through all the new stuff. But before we do, let's start with a little video that's going to show you guys the first product that we're going to be talking about. And this is what I was referring to as game changer. This is another revolution that ADS is triggering. You guys remember way back when, for all of you installers that look like me, that have gray hair, that's been doing this for a long time, you guys probably remember back in the day, we had a wall full of interface and we picked depending on the car because they were all application specific, right? When ADS came on board, they were renowned for what? An ALCA, a universal module that you can flash for your specific application. They revolutionized the industry with this. A couple years later, they introduced something called clone, K-L-O-N, which allowed you to make a copy, make a clone of a specific key and store it into your interface in order for you to do your remote starter installation so you could bypass the transponder. This allowed you to use the same hardware that you've been using for the past couple of years, which is the ALCA or your blade or so on. So this was another revolution that the team at ADS came out with. They invented that, just so you know. Nowadays, every other interface manufacturer, they all have their own version of the clone, and it is needed in this industry. The next product we're going to be talking about will be exactly like that. It will be a new revolution that's going to open up a, pardon my French here, a shit ton of doors for remote starter installation. I apologize, Ben. I'm using bad language, but hey, I'm French. I'm allowed to say stuff, right? Because I did say pardon my French. Anyhow, let's not get carried away. As you guys can see, I'm getting all excited to talk about it. So how about we watch that little video, and after the video, I'll show you the product and we can talk about it a little bit more. So cue video. All right. Is everybody excited from what they saw? Or you're just thinking, oh, it's just another device to flash your product with? Well, I know that's what it looks like. It looks like it's just another device that will allow you to flash and program your Idatalink Idatastart module, but it's a little bit more than that. So let's take a closer look at what it is and explain a little bit what it is. So Just like an ADS USB, the Weblink Hub will allow you to flash program your compatible iDataLink, Idatastart product. So you'll be able to connect them to your PC, download the appropriate firmware, change your feature, change your option, exact same thing as an ADS USB would do. You can also clone, and you can do everything that the ADS USB would do. Now, where is it different? It is different because it's introducing something new. Part of the device is a key reader. This will allow you to place a key inside the hub to make some RF reading. So you will be able to read the RF part of the key. You'll be able to do some cloning of that, which will result into better solution. How do I better explain that? If you're a tech, you've done Idatastart in the past a couple of times. And I'm sure you guys have saw a certain solution where they ask you to remove the battery from the key and place the key fob next to a specific part in the car called the passive transponder reader. That's because the transponder bypass was traditionally done with the passive transponder, so the part that doesn't emit any RF in the car. A couple of situations that you might encounter is that if the pre-delivery inspection or the PDI is not done properly on that new vehicle, sometimes the dealership forgets to code that passive transponder. So if ever the battery goes dead into the transmitter, then you're not stuck and you can't drive your car. Simply take your key, place it next to the button and start it, and the car will start. Now, when we introduce the RF key reader, is we can now make a RF clone of that key, meaning that we can do better solution, easier for us installers, and it will also remove certain limitation that we had in the past. And the next term I'm going to use, I don't like using it, but for lack of a better explanation, I'm sure you guys have probably heard in the past a front door crack and a back door crack. So the difference between both, back door is we do it hardwire with CAN, and we connect to the weakest point in the chain of communication, and we make the car believe that the key is there. The front door is when you go through RF as to where every single part of computer in the car still truly believes that there is a key in the car because it's seeing the RF portion of that key. So this will be a front door solution. If you guys can read a little bit lower, my last point, it says it removes limitation. As of now, certain firmware solution will give you certain limitation. I'll give you an example. Toyota is one. You know that certain vehicles that whenever you try to do a takeover, you can't do a takeover, the car will shut down. This is due to how the interface is making the car believe that the key is in there. We're using something different. With this, in a very near future, these types of limitation will be a thing of the past. I'm not saying that as of now, as we announce this, every single car that has this type of limitation will be gone. No, I'm saying that in the future, the team at ADS will be able to address those. And because we're using RF technology, we will be making the car believe that it is seeing a key, and therefore you will not have those traditional limitations. Does that sound good? I hope I'm clear a little bit on what it is and how it works. And like I said, we'll also be able to give you better coverage and new solutions in a very near future. So with the Weblink Hub giving you the ability to clone or copy the RF portion of the key, this will unlock certain solutions that are currently not possible or not done. So, you know what? Before I start talking about all these solutions, how about we show you what it looks like? I know we got a picture in the background, but it's not very, very clear. Let me just show you what the packaging looks like. So this is the box. Let me just move them out of the way. So this is the box of the product. Yay, a box, right? So let's take a closer look inside and see what's inside here. What is the Weblink Hub? So first thing that we see here, as you guys can see, this is brand new. This is the hub. So right here, we see the logo. There is a button here. We see that we have a little opening that's in that 45-degree angle. There's a little hole at the bottom. At the back, we see that the hole is there, and we see we got 3 plugs. We have a USB plug, we have a power adapter plug, and we have our RS-232, or the USB that will go to the cable that will go to your interface for you to flash. So how does it work? Well, you guys can see here that little hole. I'm going to take one of my keys and show you. So if you were to take some reading, this is just my good old Hyundai key, but if I was to be using this to take a reading of that key, I would simply place it in the hole here, and this will allow me to make some reading. As you guys can see, a hole for the shaft of the key to go through, and you are able to place the key. This opening is large enough to fit most keys, even the traditional looking keys like I have, and also for the push to start vehicle, you'll be able to stick it in there. So this is the Weblink Hub. Now, what else is in that box? Well, yeah, okay. Okay, nothing else here. So we got a box here, and the box says take advantage of new possibilities in both French and English. Let's take a look. First thing that I see here is a OBD2 adapter with a connector. If you guys take a look here, that connector, this is an over molded connector, so you can plug it in and disconnect it many times, it will not break. This is if you want to use your Weblink Hub inside a vehicle. So you can use this to give it power. So you would connect it to the power, and you would then connect this to the OBD2 of the vehicle to give this power. What else is in this box? Well, would you look at that? So we also have a wall adapter with the same type of connector. So if you're leaving this on your desk, so you would be connected as is, and this would be plugged into a power source, and you would be able to flash your device. What else is here? Well, you will need your USB cable that will go from the computer to the USB on the Weblink Hub. So just like that, be able to plug it to your computer. And the last cable that we see here is the cable that will run from this device to your remote starter or your Idatastart. If you guys pay attention, both ends are over molded connector, so you will be able to plug and disconnect and replug and disconnect multiple times without breaking this cable. And they're both different colors. There's a good reason for that. If you take a look at the back of the unit, this connector here is gray, so obviously we want to connect the gray plug, and this one has a positive lock on it, so it will not be disconnected accidentally. The other side here is over molded, but there's no positive lock on it. So if I connect a brain, I can connect, disconnect, and connect, disconnect, and connect, disconnect, and connect and disconnect, as we all do multiple remote starter a day. So you don't run the chances of breaking that connector. It is a very nicely designed over molded connector that's going to last you years and years and years. All right. So now that we've seen our module itself, how about we start talking about what else can we do with this? What can we do with this? Well, this is the content. Let me just move some stuff out of the way. So we can bring in some new stuff here. This is all the content that's in every box that you guys will get in your box when you get the product. And by the way, the Weblink Hub will be available beginning of September. So this is something, as you guys saw, this is a production unit. It's not something that, yes, we're going to have, and it's going to be delivered in somewhere in 2095. It's going to be happening this year. So this is what you will see. So this is all nice. All right, now I can take readings of keys. I can clone the RF portion of the key. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for today, this season? Well, it means the introduction of newer solution. This first solution that you guys see behind me is ADS T-HR MA6. This is a T-Harness that will allow you to do remote starter installation on the 2019 Plus Mazda 3 and the 2020 Plus Mazda CX-30. So this type of vehicle hasn't been covered from ADS for the last year or two. And the reason why ADS waited so long before releasing something, it's because of this technology. Because it is based on the key reading technology. So we could have done it another way, like other people have been doing for a long time. It's a very good solution. It works very, very good. But ADS didn't feel comfortable making it that way. They wanted to invest into a technology that's going to last for years and years and years. And this is where the RF portion comes in and it will shine. So this first T-Harness that we see here is the ADS T-HR MA6. This will work on your Mazda. It will be direct plug and play into your vehicle. It will also do your parking lights, and it is a very, very straightforward install. Now, the last part that you guys see behind me, it says that accessory required. What does that mean? It means that to do one of those vehicles, Mazda 319 and up, you will absolutely require an ADS T-HR MA6. So there is no solution for the ALCA for now. And because it is a T-Harness that operates with RFID, you will absolutely require the use of the hub. So if you have the T-Harness and no hub, doesn't work. If you have the hub without the T-Harness, doesn't work. So this will bring in a brand new line of T-Harness that will require the hub. Now, let's take a look at the install document, and then I'm going to show you the T-Harness so we all know what it looks like. So installation document looks like this. As you guys can see, it is very easy, very, very simple. 3 connections. So we have one on the passenger side of the vehicle. We have the BCM, and we have your parking light switch. So this should be a very straightforward and easy installation. Now, let's take a look about that T-Harness so we know what it looks like. Just move some stuff around. So what we got here, we got the T-Harness. This is the box. Every T-Harness box that requires the hub will have this mentioned here at the bottom, Weblink Hub required. So if you don't have the hub, you will not be able to do this because you require to flash the RFID part. Let's take a look here. What's in the box? Nothing else in the box. Let's put that aside. All right, so like most Idatalink T-Harness, as you guys can see, fit and finish is outstanding. We have some nice tape. We have a short and a long part that you guys can see here. This is for the driver's side. And we have a very, very long part that will go on the passenger side. These are extra CAN wires, and these are the connection that goes to your remote start. So if I have my remote start, these would be the connection done. And if you guys didn't know, at the back of the Idatastart here, you guys see this little hole there? And if you flip it on the side, there's a little channel. This is for you to insert a zip tie, so you can zip tie your harness at the back here to make your installation look clean and neat. Isn't that awesome? Now, we've been talking about RFID. So far, this is a T-Harness. What's the big deal, right? Well, all these new T-Harnesses will include this little guy here. This little guy is the accessory RFID 1. This is the hardware necessary for your brain, for your remote start, to replicate and broadcast that information that we clone from the RF portion of the key. So this does not store your key, so you cannot just take this and steal a car. This is just hardware to make the RF portion work inside of the installation. So this by itself doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. It still requires the remote starter in order to work. So you guys can see how this process is. I have prepared a little programming example, which we will cover in the next slide after we talk about some more new product. So this is Mazda 6. This is T-Harness that's going to be made available very, very, very shortly. This will be made available shortly after the Weblink Hub, which is September, within the next couple of weeks. Reach out to your distributor. We will give you pricing and information and availability. This will be very shortly after the hub because one cannot exist without the other. So this is the ADS THR MA6. All right. We talked about multiple new stuff coming out this season. Well, there's another T-Harness that you guys will be very happy to see, and it's this guy here. This is a T-Harness for Subaru. Oh, isn't that interesting, right? Subaru vehicles are not super complex to do, but it's going to get a lot easier with the use of a T-Harness. And this first T-Harness, because there's two T-Harness available for Subaru this year, is called the ADS THR SU1. So this will give you a plug-and-play solution for the vehicles that you see there. If you're a little bit more familiarized with the firmware names at ADS, this will be for pretty much all the standard key cards that are covered under RSA SUB 9. So this T-Harness, plug-and-play, super easy. And what will it give you? Well, it will plug in directly to your connection. It will give you data transponder bypass because we're using the RFID. It will also give you parking lights through data, and it's constant parking light, so it's easy. And it also requires the accessory RFID. So I do have this T-Harness here with me as well, and we can see what it looks like. But before we do, let's take a look at the diagram, see what's involved into connecting one of those. And you can't really see, but behind me it shows that this is also a hub required T-Harness. So you will absolutely need to get the ADS Weblink Hub to make this T-Harness solution work. So what does it look like for connection? As you guys can see, it is extremely complicated. So you got two connections, one at ignition switch, one at your transponder, and one at the fuse box of the car. Sorry, two at the fuse box of the car. You will have to connect your ground separately, and if you want to connect horn and you want to install your hood pin, you can do so as well. We will provide you connections for this. As you guys can see, this is straightforward, easy connection, and should make your life a lot easier. Now, let's take a look at the product itself. So, SU1, like I was mentioning, at the bottom here, we see that it is mandatory to use the Weblink Hub in order to use this T-Harness, because we will need to take some readings from the key and flash them into this device here. Let's take a look at this harness here so you guys can see what's in there. All right, nothing else, very good. So, couple wires for you to connect. As you guys can see, this is a new harness. still attached with the zip tie, whatever you want to call it. And you got yourself your connection. This is where it connects on the remote starter portion. So as you guys can see, it is very easy. And quick reminder, at the back, little hole, little channel, put a zip tie, attach it, looks nice and very professional. On this end here, you guys will see that we have transponder, ignition switch, and we also got this guy here. And depending on the application, you might need to use this little harness that you can connect here. And obviously, part of the harness is our accessory RFID. So this guy here, which is responsible for the RF portion of the transponder bypass. Like I've mentioned before, this is not a key, so you cannot take this and steal the car with it. This is simply hardware in order to get the RF portion done that the remote starter needs to do. So this is what you get in that box. Very easy, very, very straightforward, and simple. All right, let's go back to the computer. So this T-Harness will also be released in September, right after the Weblink Hub, and pretty much at the same time as the Mazda T-Harness will be released. So September, order yourself a Weblink Hub because it will be required in the near future. And if you want to do the Subaru one and also the Mazda 6, those T-Harness will be made available as well. Now, we've seen the diagrams. We understand what the Weblink Hub does. We've seen the T-Harness. We know what the accessory RFID looks like. But for your day-to-day operation, what will it look like for you, the techs out there, when you're doing those installs? So this is more stuff, but you guys will see. It is very, very straightforward and easy. So let's take a look. Let's go to my desktop. This is my desktop. Let me just remove my head from there. This is the Weblink desktop application. As you guys can see at the bottom of my screen, I choose to put the application on my taskbar. I simply click on it. This will pop up this screen where you will use the same username and password that you've been using in the past with your standard ADS USB, and you will log in. Now it's going to ask you to select which project you want to do. Are you doing a Maestro product or are you doing a Weblink RS? So remote starter, bypass, ALCA, blade enabled product, you would choose the Weblink RS. Now, this is the part where you would connect your ADS USB to the product itself. So what you will do is you will do the same thing. As you guys can see here on the desk, I got the Weblink Hub connected to my power source, connected to the computer with the USB cable, and I also got that black and gray cable connected to my Idatastart. Now that it's connected, I'm going to select Weblink RS. It's going to do just like the ADS USB. It's going to detect the product, and it's showing me that I have a blank Idatastart HCX plugged in there. There's no firmware installed. So I'm going to go through the exact same process as you would do with a regular ADS USB. And for this demonstration, I'm going to pick a Mazda vehicle. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Mazda 3. So I'm going to click on Configure New Module. Obviously, I'm going to select Mazda. I'm going to go 2021, and I'm going to go with the Mazda 3. Now, this screen will be a little bit different. If you guys pay attention here, on the top portion, it shows push to start automatic. And right underneath it, it's asking you which solution you want to do. First one is RSA MA6, which requires the T-Harness and the hub. And at the bottom is RSD MA5, which you can do without the hub, but you will have to relinquish a key, which is the older method that we've been using until today. So we will still give you the choice of using whatever you want. For this example, obviously, I will select the RSA MA6 because that's what I want to showcase, right? So I'm going to select push to start RSA MA6. Now, the first pop-up that's going to bring is accessory required. Why are we doing this? Well, because not everybody like you spends the time to watch these trainings, right? So it is probably by accident and you don't know that it's available that you will see, oh, I can do an RSA Mazda with whatever, with the no transponder bypass. Oh, it's awesome. I want to do it now. And then you flash it, then you install it, and then it doesn't work. And you go, oh, then you call tech support, then you wait 15 minutes in line. You talk to the guy. He goes, wait, no. You need the T-Harness. And you go like, oh my God, I don't have the T-Harness. And you're all angry and you don't like me anymore. So don't like me. We will put the notification directly on the screen there. So you will know that you absolutely require this accessory. So now I've been notified. I know I require the accessory. So I'm going to click OK. Second thing after that is going to ask you to do exactly the same as you would do with your traditional starter. It's going to ask you to pick a brand of RF. I'm going to pick Idatastart for sure. It's going to ask you, do you want to do telematics device? Obviously I do. I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to select my car. Then I'm going to select the firmware. We're going to pick the default one that we see here. So select RSA MA6. And then it's going to bring us to the quick overview of your features and option. Now, it's going to ask you, do you want to maintain the OEM key fob to go lock to remote start the vehicle? Yes or no. You can change it as well. And then it's going to ask you if you want to change the runtime of the device. You can do that there. If you want to make more changes, you can always go into the full menu to make all the changes that you want. But for this description, I'm just going to go with this. I'm going to go save and go to flash summary. Once I'm in the flash summary, it's going to give you an overview of what I selected. I'm going to click, all right, flash. So what you guys see behind me is a little bit different than your traditional flashing screen. The first portion that it's going to ask you is, please place the key into the hub. All right. I'm going to take my key. I'm going to stick it inside the hub and I'm going to press continue. One thing that is very important, I didn't say what, one thing that's very important is key placement. If we go back here, you guys notice that I took the key out of the keychain to place it in the hub. Why did I do that? Because if there are other keys on that keychain and there is a very, very, very small percent chance that it might be positioned in an odd way where it might interfere with the reading. So in order to prevent stuff like that, do not leave any other keys attached to the keychain when you're doing this. Take it away, put it on the counter, do whatever you have to do with it, but don't do like I did here and false your readings. So please pay attention, remove the key from the keychain when you're doing this. Now we know because we've watched the CMA and I told you to, so we can do the reading. So first thing that the system will do is we'll make some reading of the key, send it to our server. Once we got that, it's going to do programming of the remote start. So you've placed the key, it's taking readings of the key, it's sending it to the server, does whatever it needs to be doing in the background. Then it's going to start flashing your remote starter. So you're going to start seeing those LED blinking on the remote starter brain. So after a couple of seconds, it is flashed and away you go. You're probably thinking, that wasn't so hard. This is easy. I'm not going to bother reading what's written there. I'm just going to click continue and try to make my day move faster. If you don't take the time to read and click continue, you will get an error code. Oh, what does that mean? What it is asking you to is to disconnect the Idatastart from the Weblink Hub and to connect the accessory RFID. You guys remember that little Lego looking thingy bob that was in the T-Harnesses? That's the thing that you need to disconnect from the T-Harness and plug there. So you will disconnect it, your Idatastart, you will plug in your accessory RFID, and you will click continue. And what the system will do is it will flash what it needs to flash into that accessory part to make the RFID work in that specific vehicle. And once that is done, well, as you guys can see, it is done. You click done, you can access your install guide, and you can see what everything else is all about on that. So what do you guys think? I can hear everybody saying, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I can't wait to use it. Awesome. So for now, what you guys will see, the Weblink Hub might not seem so great. Why am I so excited to talk about it? It's just that the future is looking very, very good for the remote starter industry. As the car progresses, there are more and more difficult for us to do an interface that will allow you to do a remote starter in data. With the addition of this, the accessory RFID and the Weblink Hub, it opens up new ways for us to be able to create solution for you to do the installation. So this is a future-proof solution that with time, you guys will see more and more use, and you will understand the benefits of using this technology with the next couple of years. As of now, at release, it will do SU1 and also the Mazda 3 MA6 T-Harness, so which brings two new solutions available to what you can do. And as time goes on, you will see more and more solutions being developed on that specific subject. So might not look so good now, but give it time. After a year, you guys will see the benefit of using this. This, like I said earlier during the presentation, is game changer. This is going to revolutionize the way that remote starters are done. And you guys will see in a very near future all the benefits and all the cool stuff that will be able to be done with this new technology that the team at ADS has spent years to develop. If you're familiar with ADS, they take their time to release stuff, but when they do, it is solid and it works. There's always a reason to their madness, right? So they have a good plan, and based on what I know about this plan, it is looking very, very good. All right, now we talked about the hub. There is other new stuff that's going to be released this season that doesn't necessarily require the use of the hub, but should be talked about as well. Mainly T-Harness's solution. Nowadays, if you want to be quick and efficient, most shops will use a T-Harness to make the installation easier and fast. So ADS is spending a lot of time in releasing new T-Harnesses solution. And we have more T-Harnesses available that will be released a little bit later on this season. So I've prepared a little PowerPoint on this. So let's go take a closer look at that. All right, T-Harnesses, what's available or what's going to be made available for us this season? Well, before we get there, let's talk about the latest edition that was released last season. You guys probably saw this is a T-Harness for Nissan, more specifically for the Kicks and the Versa, for the push-to-start version of these cars. It is ADS THR NI10. This is a very easy T-Harness to do. It will give you data transponder bypass. It does not require the hub. It was released last year, so it's a regular T-Harness. It will do data transponder bypass. It uses the clone technology. It will allow you take over. It will take care of your parking light, but it is the flashing type of parking light. It will allow you to do the 3-lock start off the OEM transmitter in order to remote start and stop your vehicle. And it will make those OEM key fobs still functional during remote start. So that means that if your vehicle is pushed and you have that proximity unlock, when you reach out for the door handle, it unlocks. This will remain functional when you are using this T-Harness. What does the install look like? I'm a tech. That's the first thing I look at. This is the install. As you guys can see, very easy, straightforward, and not overly complex to do the installation. This should be available now at your favorite distributor, Automobility, of course. So let's move on. Next one, this should be a very popular T-harnesses as well. With the Weblink Hub, we talked about SU1, so solution for certain Subaru car. This is SU2, which will bring coverage with a T-harness with a whole lot of other Subaru vehicles. This T-harness is called ADS THR SU2, and it will give you coverage to the cars that you see behind me there. So mostly push to start, 2019, 17 and up. So very, very popular vehicles. You guys do them every day. But the one thing that I love about this T-harness solution, yes, you read it correctly. If you're not old like me and you're young and peppy and you had your morning coffee and your back doesn't hurt, you can do this very, very, very fast. We say 5-minute install. So for me, maybe a 15-minute install because I'm old, but the average installer will be very, very fast using this. A couple of key features that you need to know about the SU2 T-harness. It will give you data transponder bypass. It will offer you takeover. So after remote start, you'll be able to get in the car won't shut down. It will give you parking light control, and it's the constant parking light, so like traditional parking light. You will not be able to do 3-lock start from the OEM remote, and the OEM remote will not stay functional when the vehicle is remote running, which means if your Subaru is equipped with proximity unlock, where you reach in for the door handle and it unlocks, this will not remain functional. So if you have your vehicle remote started and you want to get in, you'll have to use your remote starter key fob, press unlock, get in, and do your takeover. So cool things now. Every single guide that is published by ADS now will give you all those details if you haven't paid attention to the install guide. And yes, there is install guides. I know that's the thing we don't bother to read. We're just trying to figure out where connectors go, right? But take 5 minutes and read it. It's going to be helpful. So what does the install look like? Well, this is what it looks like. As you guys can see, very simple, straightforward. This should be extremely popular. Now, $5 gazillion question. When will this be available? The ETA that I've been given by the team at ADS is somewhere October, so I'm going to say November. So there's no fixed ETA. Obviously, with the current situation with the pandemic and the chip shortage and the shipping and all that, everything can vary. This is tested, this is validated, this is in transit. As soon as they receive it, they will dispatch those to their respective distributors, and us at Mobility, we're expecting them very shortly. But like I said, should be November-ish. So don't hold up your install for tomorrow. If you want this, it will be available, but very, very, very short. What else do we have? Oh, would you look at that? We have another T-harness that should make a lot of you guys very happy. This one is called the ADS THR TL10. This is a Toyota T-harness, and this is going to bring a T-harness solution for most of the cars that were not covered with a T-harness with the previous solution. So if you're familiar with the firmware, so RSA TL7, 9, and 10, with both key and push, this will make it possible for it. So what will it give you? Well, it is a very easy solution, data transponder bypass. You will be able to do a takeover if you're using the key type of vehicle, push to start. There's no takeover available. The car will shut down on door open or unlock. It will give you data parking light control. So very easy, and it's a constant parking light control. It will allow you to do 3-lock start from the OEM remote, and your OEM key fob will remain functioning, and your sensor, so your proximity unlock, will remain functioning. So very important, no takeover on the push, takeover on the key. This will make it a lot easier for you guys to do to use. Well, I say easy. Let's take a look at the diagram. this is what we got here. I do believe this diagram is for Camry, so it should be very straightforward and easy solution. Now, when will this T-Harness be available? Again, the ETA that was given by the team at ADS gave me a specific date. I would say November as well. They say late September, so I'm going to say November just to be on the safe side. Again, with all the current situation, the date that are given to you are not exact and fixed. There's so many variables that can go, that can happen. So please be patient with this, but this is coming. All right, what do we got next? Oh, this one. This one should be very interesting as well. So if you do a lot of Volkswagen vehicles, we had a T-Harness line with a key coffin or key box style type of transponder bypass. This is a new T-Harness that will be called THR VW2. This will bring you a plug-and-play solution for your A3, your S3, your Q3, and certain other Volkswagen. This is still a key box style solution, meaning that in the harness kit, you will see a key box where you will place the key inside of it. You obviously remove the battery and you'll be able to do that install, but it will be a plug and play install. So it should be very straightforward and easy. I do not have a good date for when this will be available. So I'm going to say towards the end of the season this year. I just wanted to share with you guys what the team at ADS is working, the solution that you will see later on this year as far as T-Harnesses. There are other T-Harness solution down the pipeline that might show up a little bit later during the season. I don't think it's very advantageous for us to talk about it. I don't want to get you guys' hope up, but there's a new T-Harness solution that's going to be coming out for Hondas, which good features built in. And we have another one for Toyota, and we're going to have another T-Harness for GM, which will cover all the newer keys style for GM. I don't have an exact date. These will be most likely, at best, last in the season, so very, very late, or maybe beginning of next season. Just wanted to share with you guys a couple of things that are in the works from the team at ADS. So this sums up pretty much everything that is new that you guys will see this season for ADS. And hopefully you've enjoyed this. But I wasn't supposed to do this, but I got it all prepped and everything. The guys at ADS, they shared something with me. I'm not sure if they did good. I'm not sure if I'm going to get in trouble, but they are working on a new project that you guys might see at the end of the season this year. And it's too good not to talk about it. So, well, guys at ADS, please forgive me. I am going to talk about it, but this has to stay between all of us, right? Don't tell anybody else. So let me show you what the team at ADS is working on currently. I'll just put a little picture here so you guys can see. Oh, doesn't that look super sexy, eh? Oh, so the team at ADS is currently working on a new LCD transmitter, which should be made available very late this season, if not beginning of next season. So this is going to be a 5-button LCD with tons of cool feature. Let's see. Well, I'm going to share everything. All right. So this RF kit is called RF4652AE, and pricing should be already in your price list. If you take a look now, this will be a 2-way full color LCD. Let me repeat that. 2-way full color LCD using LoRa technology, so should give you range of up to 6,000 feet of range. So it is using the same AN2400A antenna that ADS has been using for the past couple of years. So you will be able to purchase this remote separately and add it to your existing LoRa install. It is a USB rechargeable full color LCD, which should last you, let's say, they say up to 6 weeks. Me, I'd probably say a month of battery life. And the cool thing about this, it is the first, or will be the first and only transmitter that it's field updatable. Because it is a rechargeable transmitter, it has a micro USB port on it for you to plug it in to charge it. And it can also be used to flash update it with your Weblink desktop. What does that mean? It means that if after its release, there's a couple bugs or glitches that needs to be fixed, and if those bugs and glitches are just firmware, the team at ADS will be able to push firmware online, and you will be able to simply update your remote to make it work. This will also make it possible for you to add features to this down the line. If they figure out that you guys, the installer, say, I would really wish they made that feature available there, and you voice your opinion to your distributor and the team at ADS, they do listen. Just in case you didn't know, they might decide to make it available, and they might just implement it in the future release of firmware, which will then allow you to update your remote and get access to that new feature. So this is pretty cool in my opinion. And if you look behind me, there, this will be the companion transmitter. This is the TR3450AE that it's been out and available for a couple of years now at ADS. Very popular remote, range is great. This will be the companion transmitter that will come in the kit. And obviously, both of these parts will be available separately. You have the RF kit part number available on the top left here, and right under the LCD remote, you see the part number for just the remote. So these will be made available. I don't know if I'm going to get into a lot of trouble for this, but hey, decided to talk about it. It is very exciting. The team at ADS has been extremely busy, and not very clear on that picture, but it is a full color LCD remote. And based on what I saw, the pictogram that you see there is able to be changed from a car, pickup, or a minivan, depending on what you drive. So this is going to be very, very, very cool. And it's already made to work with the existing antenna. So very easy for you to update whatever your customer has. So there you go. That's pretty much all I had as far as new stuff for ADS. I hope you guys are excited to see all that new stuff coming out this season. I know I am. I'm excited about the new Weblink Hub just because of the future that it holds and all the new possibility that will bring to the remote starter game. And I got to give kudos to the team at ADS. They will always amaze me what they are able to do in such a short amount of time. Tons of new stuff. Ben, you got something?
What a presentation, first of all, Phil. Thank you so much for putting that together. I can now understand when you were telling me, Ben, you have no idea how much stuff I have to cram into this one session. And obviously between the launch of the new hub and then all the new applications for the T-harnesses, and I didn't even know about that remote. I think you snuck that in without under the radar. I didn't even know about that. But I do have a couple of questions for you, Phil. So, you know, obviously so much has changed since the bypass thing started up. And now this hub truly is going to be a game changer, but I sense there's going to be a couple of details you need to be aware of. I want to circle back to that hub. I understand the advantages. I can see how there's going to be a lot more open to features and maybe even future things that we haven't even discovered yet. But what are some of the key caveats that we want to make sure installers understand with this hub?
First thing is, if you guys saw, there will be a line of T-Harness that will absolutely require the hub.
Okay. So specific to the hub. Okay.
So if you guys take a look, the T-Harness will say ADS Weblink Hub required. Why? Because we will be doing the transponder bypass through RF. So to do it through RF, you need the hub to make the reading and then flash your accessory RFID. So this is just like your regular tools that you buy for installation. You buy it once, you keep it forever, right? So you won't have to buy 500 gazillion of those. You buy one for the shop, or me, I'm a tech, I like to have my own tools, so I bought two. So I have one in my toolbox and one in my backpack. So I always travel with this, and this will be the tool for the future.
Very, very cool. Let's talk about profitability. You talked a lot about the technology side of things. Let's talk about real world profitability efficiency for a shop. How do you think this hub is going to impact workflow versus profitability?
Depends on which aspect you look at it. Profitability, this will bring solutions that were not currently offered. So you'll be able to do, let's say, a Mazda 3 without sacrificing a key. So sometimes the customer, they see I have to lose the key. It's not very attractive. So with this, it will give you the option of not sacrificing a key. So it's good. As far as time consuming, it's not longer than the traditional way. So it will not add too much time. So it's just a different method of operating. It will give you new solutions and new ways to offer those solutions, and will remove certain restrictions that will make it easier for you to sell a solution. So I do believe this will make it a lot more attractive in the future. But now with the two solutions that we have with the Subaru and with the Mazda, it's a pretty cool solution.
So if I understand correctly, Phil, this will open up new opportunities. So therefore, technically more profitability, because you'll be able to offer a better service to more clientele. And let's not mistake, I mean, those two applications cover a lot of potential new customers that you otherwise might not have had an ideal solution for previous to this launch. So I think that's where, and if all things remain equal as far as the tech install time used for install side of things, then really there's just more money to make if you get this up to speed with this new device. So
exactly. And this is just me with my background of knowing this technology, and because I did a lot of research. I'm a little bit of a nerd of remote start and RF, and like most of the viewers know that I used to work for ADS for a number of years, so I'm pretty much familiar with all the technology behind it. What I read on the possibilities for this will allow ADS to offer solutions that are currently not done. So I won't name cars, but certain European cars that may or may not be covered. They haven't told me they're going to work on something like that. It's just
but they created this platform, Phil, to be able to explore those avenues. I think is the what the takeaway is.
So
okay,
it's going to make the future look good. Like,
I was just going to ask you that. Where's this headed now? Because this feels like it's a new departure. They've set up this new device platform. They're going for the obvious, I guess, the low-hanging fruit, if you will, right? But where can it go?
I don't think there's a limit. Knowing the team at ADS, I know they have a plan, and they're always not seeing like one season ahead. They're seeing for the future. Like I mentioned before, ALCA. Everybody thought at first, like, why would I pay a little bit more money for a module that does everything? When can I just carry a wall full of bypass, right? Nowadays, can you find a shop that has a wall full of bypass? Everybody's carrying an ALCA and they're flashing it. Second thing they did was clone. Like, why would I need to do that, right? Now everybody's doing clone, right? This is the next thing. If they saw that this was the future, that means that it is the future. It will allow them to offer a solution that's currently not possible. And this is something that's going to work for a long time. The best example, ADS ALCA. It's been on the market for what? 10, 12 years? You can still today flash a 10-year-old ALCA, providing there's enough memory inside, because over the years, the memory size inside the CA has grown. But if the firmware fits in there, you can still flash it for a brand new car. Give me another interface or anything else within the electronic industry that can claim to do that today. Something that was sold 5 years ago that is still current today that you can update for a brand new application.
Fair enough. Case in point. Phil, I'm going to give you the last word here before I let you sign off.
All right.
What is your final message?
Final message. I don't know. I think I talked a lot. Maybe, why not use this platform to talk about it? If you are on the east side of the country, Automobility very recently is going to announce that we're doing regional trainings.
Ooh.
So this form of training has been not offered since COVID. We are back. We will be doing a bunch of trainings in Montreal and Quebec City in French. Obviously, we will be doing a couple of trainings out in the Maritimes, so Moncton, Halifax, and some like that. And we will do Ontario as well. And we might also do some training out west. So if you want to see this real life, ask question, we will be hosting some training seminars. We are back at it, and I'm very happy to be able to travel and see our customers again and answer their questions. Like, I've been working from home for the past 2 years. I have 2 cats. It's lonely and annoying. I need to see people.
Well, we are happy to see you back in the field. I can't wait for that. That's some very exciting news. So much exciting news on this episode. Let's bring up the information so that people know. Idatastart. If you're looking for more information, you're going to head over to idatastart.com. That's where all the details and specifications of everything that Phil covered today, including the T-harnesses, the hub, and is that remote information out yet? Maybe not. That might come a little bit later. But everything else,
I might get in trouble for that.
You might get in trouble. So just so you know, I didn't authorize it. Just so you know. No, just kidding.
So after that,
if you want more information, if you're in Canada, you want to connect with Automobility to find out more about either the product or these trainings that Phil has just talked about, automob.ca, get a hold of Phil and his team, and we'll set you up. Phil, excellent job on this presentation, sir. We appreciate you, and this is going to be a very exciting starter season, I can tell.
Thank you for your patience. As you guys can see, I talk a lot. I got excited.
All good info. All good info. Amazing.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Take care, Phil. Bye-bye. All right. Awesome presentation from expert Phil Camirand. I hope you guys got a load of that. Game changer, the hub. Let us know in the comments below what you think. All right. Want to remind you to continue tuning in to CMA Networks right through till September 16th. As you can see, we are deep into remote starters and telematics. That's what this is all about. And man, do we have great buy-in from the industry, guys. Pretty much every brand in the category is coming to play and present. So you guys, the dealers, can be totally up to date on what's going on with remote start and telematics. Now, I have to mention it because you're going to hear about this all for the next few months, to be honest with you. And that is the MasterTech Expo and CMA Networks contest called the Ultimate Fab Experience Giveaway. 2 lucky winners will win an all-inclusive trip to MasterTech Expo in 2023 in Mesa, Arizona. All you got to do is head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaways and fill out the form to win. There's no cash value. Winners will be drawn on November 23rd right here on CMA Roundtable. Guys, we're talking about flights, food, training, you name it. Sign up. 1 winner from Canada, 1 winner from the US. Lastly, make sure you go to our website, cmanetworks.com. If you enjoyed this video, check it out. Everything that has to do with remote start and telematics, past videos, you name it, right here on cmanetworks.com. That's it for this CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Roll it down. I am. You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?